Hello? Yeah. Okay. So I don't exactly know what constitutes a spoken word, but kind of procrastinated on this too, as well as the video. But I finished this like this morning, so I didn't get a chance to memorize it. So I'll just be reading a poem. A little background on this. In a few days, it marks the ninth month since my baptism. And like a pregnancy, the past 9 months have been quite painful. And I'm sorry if I offended any mothers out there, because I've never been pregnant. So, but it's been quite hard though. I went through quite a bit of dry period, and I'm still going through one now. But I've been inspired by the word. It comes from Isaiah 53, verse 2. For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of the ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. So yeah, that kind of seems kind of morbid, but somehow it spoke to me. But without further ado, I'll just read my poem for the first time. Okay, here you go. When the water of faith poured on me, I sprang to life. I was a seedling filled with light, a light so bright that it ignites my insides, so strong that it brings about fantastic visions and inspired a heart to go on third world missions. But when I opened my eyes, it was a terrible sight. I found myself surrounded by sand, alone in the night. Baby sapling in the desert, struggling to survive. I trembled in fright. I was lost and afraid, and that light I once had began to fade. Wandering by myself in this wilderness, my loneliness gave birth to ambivalence. It's a terrible circumstance to be so far removed from my sustenance. My roots began to wither, and the soil lost its flavor like a hot dog without condiments. My heart has become petrified, stone walls made of desires that cannot be satisfied, and no matter how hard I try, my spiritual life remained parched and dry. My friends reassure me, saying, you will be fine. When in doubt, read Jeremiah 29. But man, ain't nobody got time for that. So don't give me that crap, because I'm sick of hearing cheap cliches, and I got no patience for naivetés, because when I pray, I don't want it to be just head bowed, hands clasped, automatic, and spewing rehearsed words that aren't authentic, because that's a surefire way to make my faith stagnant. But God's works, I cannot see it. God's voice, I cannot hear it. Neither can I feel the stirrings that I once called the Holy Spirit. I was becoming a Christian that was developing an addiction to praying prayers without conviction. Unanswered prayers turned me into a cynic, and I began to get skeptic as to whether I would end up with a happy ending like they always do in chick flicks. Because I was growing tired of trying to decipher God who's so darn cryptic. Because I thought, if God had telepathy, then he'd see right through my apathy, that at the core of me, I wanted to want to believe. But my heart was so heavy that it weighed down my feet, so much so that I couldn't take that courageous leap. So why does it seem like he's not helping me? It's so hard to call him sovereign in the midst of all my suffering, especially when I feel like all he does is ignore my hollering. After many months of wrestling with philosophy and questioning theology, it finally became clear to me that I'd become a Pharisee that cannot see the beauty of the little intricacies of the tapestry that is me, skillfully woven by the hands by none other than His Majesty. As I reflect, I begin to regret about how often I forget and how often I neglect the magnificence of a God who makes the insignificant significant. Because how can I be so ambivalent about a God who's so omnipotent that even through my resentment, He remained tolerant? So I'ma quit wallowing inside my petty sufferings, because that display of grace makes my crying seem irrelevant. And that's when I heard a voice out of the blue. It called to me the same way Vader called to Luke. Search your feelings, Forrest. You know it to be true, that I have always been here, always loving you. Could it be? Could it really be that the answers that I seek was as easy as learning my 1, 2, 3s? That finding God starts simply with knowing that He loves me. Seasons come and seasons go. Some will be dry and others cold. But with roots deep in love and a faith that tomorrow will get better, perhaps even a forest can grow in the middle of a desert.